Gentlemen, let's keep it in order, please.
As I see it, by their own action, until they do something that is independent, they don't deserve our help. That's what they do.
All right, we've got quite a few hands up.
That's right. That's right. Until they approach us
They did
from
it
the
Kansas
independent,
City,
they don't see how you can talk to them.
Kansas City Fire Department National Association.
All right, gentlemen, we got a few more questions. Let's get those up front.
I don't believe they're hipping themselves. The rumor going around that the man told them that they could either get him a second job or quit and give him another job. Did you care what happened?
Right. Lynn?
A union is a union regardless whether it's AFL or CIO. A union is a union.
Right.
And you're supposed to back them.
What did the Teamster people tell us they would do, regardless if we were AFL, International, Independents, or what?
It's gotta help us if we would help ourselves.
Right, that's true, too. All right. All right, brother. Hey.
What I'm trying to get at, and what I think I've arrived at is whether this local is going to support it. It seems like this local is going to support it. Well, that puts me on an individual basis when I get over there. I'll decide that when I get there now. And as far as these boys from East Point is concerned, I live in East Point. I know some of those boys, and I say let's back on 100%.
All right, gentlemen, we've got to come to a decision about this DeKalb County issue. I think we know what we'll do as far as East Point's concerned. We've got to study it out. We've got to work on it, that's for sure. I think that the executive board had better get with Bob Mitchell and sit down and thrash out all angles of this thing. Prior to that time, of course, they have not asked for any assistance at this time. Prior to that time, I think that we better pledge on it very, very cautiously. That we don't want to get out on a stem out there. As Bob says, we don't want to go be pulling their chestnuts out of the fire for AFL right at this time. If they ask us for assistance, we'll take it under advisement with Bob Mitchell and such as that. If they walk out, say between now and the time we get to it, what I'm saying is, if, let's say, they may be out right now for all we know. If they do, but between now and the time the executive board can get with Bob Mitchell and we can come up with a pretty good, what we think is a pretty good thing to submit to you, I think we better leave it on an individual basis. Do you think not? Or do you want to go and vote on it or what? All right.
I think to make a mountain out of a mole, it has something we anticipate might happen. If they strike out there, they can't strike under the International Association of Firefighters. They'll have to pull out a group like we did. I say we support them. If and as far as an individual basis myself, if I'm working at Sixers, they tell me to go into DeKalb County, I'm going to call back on the radio and say, I'm at Moreland Avenue in DeKalb and I have a flat tire. I can't go no further.
Will you put that in the form of motion, Wesley?
What's that?
Whether we support them or not. Let's get something resolved.
Support.
You make that a motion?
I second it.
All right, motion been made and seconded that we will support them.
Question.
The question. All right.
What kind of support are we gonna give them? All they do is refuse to support the city. How are they calling on us for support? They're not asking us to support them, they're asking us to leave their town alone.
Well, that'd be what we would be expecting.
That goes right back to the original question.
That's the way you go to support labor law.
My motion is that we won't fight fire if we can't.
That's right. Yeah, we ain't gonna fight it out.
I make a motion that we don't fight fire anywhere when that party is on strike or in a disagreement against their city policy.
That's the motion in second. All right, any other discussion on it? All right, gentlemen, motion's been made, been seconded, that this group will not fight fire in any community. I'll hide that word again. Oh, city, municipality, getting all that stuck there, area, subdivision, a self-sustained fire department that is well, let's just call it out on strike for clear, and we'll clear it up with the secretary later. Is that right? All right, any other question on it? All in favor? Let's stand. All right. All opposed, please stand. All right, gentlemen, seems to be a unanimous vote of this body then at this time that we will hold to the Atlanta city limits, or at least we will not fight fire. We may have whatever that purpose brings. Yes, sir.
like to make a motion to fire, like to keep a letter statement, like if we put on record that we will not support any fire department that has grievances outside the jurisdiction of the
Would there be any justification in going there and refusing to attempt to save life with no firefighting accomplishment? I mean, no firefighting accompanying. In other words, if there were life hazard, to attempt the life hazard, and at least you would knock down your biggest complaint, just not fight the fire, but
Going over and
search out and see if there was
All right, Bobby.
How about this letter going on to the mail? That's who we have to send it out of the city anyhow.
Right. And instead of putting support, not fight, fight, word it that way instead of not support.
We'll leave it with Bob Mitchell on it. Ernest, you got a point on it?
I don't think it's necessary right anybody letter. I know all the chief, mayor, anybody.
That's
They'll find out what we not do when the time comes.
Right, no important nothing.
I don't think it's necessary to tell them anything.
There have been unions that have had their pants sued off of them, I mean for millions of dollars. Now, we don't want Bob Mitchell may say if we do this, it'll leave us where they can't sue us anyhow. That's the thing we want to do. I don't know, you better think back to us. They had, not the fire department, but I mean the other unions in the country have had $1 billion lawsuits against
Gentlemen, please.
Before we go any further on any of that discussion, we got to realize we still got that 6-hour hold law. We got bylaw, we keep going with it like that. Well, nobody's doing good, we're not very late. I make a motion to go home.
All right.
Mr. President, before this group adjourns, I would like to hear a report from our delegation that went to the Georgia State Firemen's Convention. If it pleases the body.
All right, gentlemen, let's resolve this issue. Right at the moment. We can put it going pretty long, but I think it's mighty important to all of us. As good brother brought up, that this body passed some time ago that no vote would carry over 6 hours, and since we are not having the regular day and night meeting right this time, I would ask that you let your executive board study this and come up with a recommendation to you in conjunction with the attorney, and let's get something workable thing that we can work out. We'll also attempt to get with these representatives from Cobb County and East Point down here and see how we can all come up with a solution for what we can do and best protect ourselves. If you'll give us, that we've got a motion, I believe, on the floor right now. To somebody, what is the motion that's on the floor?
Send a letter to somebody.
About sending a letter that we must, who made that motion about the letter?
I made the motion to send a letter to the chief of the department, stating that we would fight fire outside the jurisdiction of the South
Captain, could I ask you to withdraw that motion for the time being?
I'll withdraw it, but I don't think that 6-hour business is any good. Actually, because we passed a lot of motions that we passed temporarily, we got bylaws, now we got bylaws.
If you want to keep it in, it's your perfect right to keep it in.
I'll withdraw it and let y'all study it, I'd like for you to consider it.
We will consider.
I think definitely that the mayor and the chief of the department is the man that's gonna order us out. When we refuse to go, we're gonna be violating the direct order again. And the man got out of there, all of us who walked out after he called the station and told us nothing. That's 2 strikes right there. And if we ain't gonna have to go all the way, they ain't gonna know that we're going out there. I think the man
We've got to have a very definite course of action, is what I'm saying. We've got to have a planned, definite course of action in this event that will cover it all. Brother?
Listen, what he's the whole thing he's trying to explain, I'm at two, and I know, if the chief gave us a direct order to go to Key Road, and we did not go, they got enough of this 134 left to come out there and take all of our places. And that whole engine house will be laid off. Then what's going to happen?
I don't think there's any question there, brother. He wouldn't have his fire department.
That's the whole
Yeah.
thing that
But
he's trying to find out.
let's give us a chance to study this and work it out. Bob is taking it under advisement tonight. We'll come up with an answer damn soon and work it out. Otherwise, I think you can handle it on an individual basis without getting yourselves in trouble until we can come across with something, and we will come across something damn quick. Pardon? Gentlemen, please.
Before we adjourn, I think we ought to hear what they got to say.
Yes, sir, I would. Y'all got a statement to make, yes, sir?
Well, about 3 months ago, we got 8 county departments operate individually, but anything approved comes through the county commission. So, we got together and we went out, that was a charter, we wasn't getting anywhere individual departments, but what we call a 5-man fire board, which takes, their recommendations to the commissioner. If there's any money involved, and every time there is anything concerning his money, he has to prove it. So we bucketed 2 guys there, 2 different groups, really. So we formed a union, and there's 4 of them started off with it, and it was the FSLCIO affiliated. Same
International Association of Firefighters, yes.
Yeah. And we had a boy that was the assistant chief up at Kennesaw was our president, and we understand he had some pressure applied to him from both ends, his fire board and also the commissioner's office. So here about a month ago, he just tears his card up and throws it in trash can, and the union is folded up. Says, well, me and one other boy showed up this past Thursday for the meeting, so we elect president. And y'all was talking, we heard some talk, y'all was talking about forming some statewide organization to get some legislation pushed through to help firemen, not in Atlanta, Todd County alone, but all over the state eventually. And we were interested in it up there. When we first, our fire board, heard we hit the union, them chairmen on the 8 different boards got together, and all they come up with some good things. Give us clothing allowance, 2 Kelly days. Some of the boys hadn't even got 1 Kelly day.
That's you know what?
Yes.
Really? And they come up with some, well, any department up there got the same thing. We're not on a regular scale. The commissioner finally set us up last September on a pay scale. Started firing off at 345 and draws maybe 220 after taxes, and you had to pay his own insurance now. We wasn't getting anywhere, so we formed this union. They come up with all these suggestions, and then they apply pressure to our president, the commissioner's office, from his fire board, and man, our union folded like that. And we heard y'all was just try to get something statewide, put some laws through the state legislature to bring some pressure on that in eventually. And we want to know what it is, and we're ready to jump in if it's any good, and sure it is, we'll do it.
I'll make it up, it'll be 100% out there in County College,
Fine.
Well, I tell you, when we started to form our union in the county, we had 5 Ritters inspections come in when Cantrell tore his card up, and they had already been threatened. Some of them had, if you talk, you can fire. And but I think they sort of wised up. They was sort of just waiting to see who could do what. But Ritters was pretty well ready to come in. We'd have had 6 out of 8. And then they applied pressure to Cantrell.
I'd like to go there just a little bit to explain what they've got in Cobb County. Cobb County, as you said, in the county fire department, they've got 8 separate fire departments. Instead of, and with 8 chiefs,
8 chiefs.
and each fire department has its own board of fire commissioners that rule and so forth on that particular department. And then all of those commissioners are, as he said, if anything has to deal with finances, must answer to the head commissioner. And they've got one double bullet there of red tape that they have to go through in order to get something. And
You can't take 14 men and whip 1 county commissioner.
that's true. They got them well divided and well subjugated there.
Plus the Austin boys, as I know y'all well.
Hey.
Well, hate it now. He's the biggest department. They got the biggest department down in South. They got about 20 men. They said, don't you mess with it. And they pretty well told the commissioner here a while back to go to the hole and cover it up with what they use. They said, don't give them a raise, and they give everybody a raise.
We'll talk with y'all on the state along with these points just as soon as this meeting's over and give you a groundwork on that thing. Now,
You can't get the money down there, then all the commissioners get it all in.
all right, let's want to hear from this our convention. First thing, another little point to bring out on this things that's happening around us that is so vital we've got to keep close touch on is what's happening to our own police department in the city of Atlanta. As you know, they're going and coming a little bit over there. They're trying to get off the ground. We did have some of them met with Captain Stein this past week. Some of them went up and talked with Bob Mitchell. But that thing kind of feathered out and panned out and fell through. They're having a hard time. They're wanting to get together. They're needing to organize over there. And we've got our hand out ready for them, but there again, they're going to have to do something first to help themselves before we can really do anything. Our doors are open to them in any way that we can help them. They are bounded by the state law that prohibits them from belonging to any organization whatsoever. But they need help over there. And I believe they're with us, so keep your ears open. If you hear anything we can use or to work in, let's get with it. We've got some feelers out. If we can get the police officer that would allow himself to be tried under that state law, Bob Mitchell is prepared to take it all the way to the Supreme Court, believes it can be broken in the Supreme Court and proved unconstitutional, then they can form into an organization of some type of fraternal organization, of brotherhood, to where they can organize and help us. So right now, they're powerless to help us other than moral support. They are working over there, they're trying hard. They can't trust, any three of them can't trust the other two. Fine? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If we could get a police officer who would join this organization, he would probably be fired. And then Bob Mitchell was prepared to take his case all the way to the Supreme Court and try to get that law busted. And that'll be of value to us come January if our own state legislature decides to include us in that law and says we firemen can't belong to such an organization. All right, let's hear about our convention then. We'll get this thing over with. We did have a good convention. Forrest, you want to report some on that? Who's going to make the report on the convention? All right. Gentlemen, your delegation went down to Jekyll Island. Well, we didn't care about 18 cases of beer and 2 cases of whiskey.
Brought it all back, didn't we?
One way or another. No, we've got quite a bit of it left for another day. But quite a bit of it went in the right places, too. But remember, we went down there for 2 purposes. And let me at this point compliment the group that you sent down there, excluding myself. I'm very proud to have served with them. Plus, there were quite a few others that showed up. Jake Stanley was there, Forrest Pittard was there, and Wesley Garrett was there, and myself that you sent down from this organization. Bo Choate Phillips and his wife came down at their own complete expense. George Slade was from Number Ones, and his wife was there. Henry Berry from Number Ones was there at their expense. Also, come Thursday afternoon, Hot Rod, Hodgson, Ernest Frake, Leonard, and Cooper from 17s flew in down there and like to scare the pants off of. I believe that's everybody that I remember right now from this delegation. 134 was pretty well represented the next day also. They had some distinguished people out there. They had, let's see, they had Wendy Wallace, Fred Draper, Mr. McNever, and a couple of lower rates. No, Paul Johnson and Joe Whitley were there also, primarily representing 134. And J.T. Pittman was there. All right. We went down there, if you remember, for 2 purposes. One, to defeat that Gall-Durand amendment that was going to give the chiefs in the Georgia Farmers Association so much power. And number 2, to sell this organization to the state and promote as much as we could for a statewide organization for farmers. Now, as to whether we accomplished that purpose. As far as the amendment concerned, I believe it's buried. I'll ask the East Point delegation to confirm that. Is it, David? As far as this organization was concerned, as far as selling ourselves and selling and our feelings toward a statewide organization, we've got commitments from, I can't remember all the list of cities, Macon, Milledgeville, Columbus, where else, Jake? Rome, Marietta, of course, East Point, and quite a few places that we've got to go. We've got appointments to go that definitely want to talk to us. Rome, right, we've got to go back to Rome. Gainesville, incidentally. Now, what came up when we hit there was they were suspicious as hell. Most of them wouldn't have a lot of them. I say most of the rank and file enjoyed us, but I mean, these old-time codgers that have held the teeth of that organization looked at us with a hell of a lot of suspicion. Of course, we waltzed in. They give you a sticker to put on your coat with your name on it. We trimmed down our FUI stickers and put on top. Of course, we were dressed out in our Sunday best, and we paraded around there at the hospitality party the first night in, introducing ourselves. That stands for a fine fellow under the influence, you know. So, with our FUI badges showing, we just began to proceed to table hop and introduced ourselves and started talking. Of course, everybody was craning, looking to see what in the hell we were up to. They didn't know. They were scared to death. They couldn't figure what in the hell we were up to. We knew we must be up to something. So that rocked on Thursday night. Wednesday night it was. They had this hospitality party, so to speak. About halfway through that party, we discovered that Chief Hildebrand had resigned as vice president of the Georgia State Firemen's Association. Now, he was due to be the president coming out of this convention, and this pretty well shocked us. We had no knowledge of this beforehand. The indication was that we checked down that Chief Hildebrand sent a letter by Chief McGill that due to conditions and the extreme conditions here in Atlanta and the what have you, that he couldn't afford to leave the city at this time and therefore had to remain at work. The unofficial thing was that this Wildcat group had come down there and there's going to be one hell of a floor fight, and he didn't want to embarrass the association. Be that what it may, why he elected for the first time in I don't know how many years not to attend this association, simply because it was quite obvious, and it was later evidenced by these older chiefs that admitted, because we had elected to come down and represent ourselves in our own state organization, Chief Hildebrand refused to come down. Be that as it may, we threw it in second gear then, decided to move about. Only knuckleheads that went down there with me decided to run me for president. I had about as much chance of snowballing hell going coming out of that damn thing as president. But they decided to feel around and see what the hell was going, so George Slade had bought down my personal card, my union cards that I passed out, and they began to go around in table hopping, passing out cards, inviting people to come up. They didn't say they ran me for president, they just wanted to get people to, no one passing out my cards, inviting people up to the hospitality room, and Forrest Fitted got on the microphone PA system and invited them up to the room, just to come up and talk to us. That's all we asked them, come up and talk to us. We got some refreshments and one thing. Forrest says, hospitality room will be open all night. And then Forrest went to bed at 10 o'clock. At 3:30, I was still going strong in my room. Forrest was downstairs. I'll never tell. But anyhow, sure enough, about 3:30 in the morning, my telephone rang. Yeah, it seemed like they started out, we had 3 or 4, I don't know, Phillips had a room there in the motel, quite a few, and all they did, when they called to get, they didn't know what room I was staying in, so they just started calling rooms. They called the entire delegation, woke them all up at 3:30. The president, Bill Condon, was on the phone, trying to locate me, and what he wanted to know was, what in the hell are we up to? I said, Bill, what do you mean? He said, what are y'all doing? I said, I'm trying to sleep, Bill. He said, what are y'all doing down here? I said, well, Bill, we just come to the convention. We just joined. He said, I know, but y'all up to something. And I said, Bill, we just come down to support this organization. And I said, come on up to the room and talk about it. He said, I'm going to come up there tomorrow. He said, I'm not afraid to face you. I said, well, Bill, why should you? We've been down there bending elbows with you all night long. He said, well, I'm coming up and I'm going to drink some of your whiskey and I'm going to find out what's going on. So we realized then that we had them pretty well bugged. We just keep them that way. They don't know what the hell we're doing down here. So that was Wednesday night. Thursday morning we went and attended the meeting. Thursday, well, the memorial services and such as that, I think we missed it, didn't they? They got off to an early start. They did. We went to eat breakfast. When we got through breakfast, they were halfway through the morning session. And I deny that. We got over there about 9:30, and it was... and the program supposed to start at 9:30, wasn't it? It was over by 10. As a man, it was disinterested. Thank you, brother. Somehow they got the morning session over, so that gave us a little free time. We run into the 134 delegation and kind of got our heads together with Joe Whitley and Paul Johnson there. And made a pretty well agreement that if whatever we decide to support down there, that we would support Joe Whitley for trustee on that board of trustees against Chief Schaefer, if they would support us in anything that we undertook. Now, we got that agreement. We worked pretty good on that, except we weren't butted up to them. Joe Whitley, if you remember, has been trying to get on that board of trustees for about 6 years down there. And even though he is in the enemy camp at this time, I don't think there's anybody here that can deny that as far as firemen are concerned, Joe Whitley is about the best man in the state of Georgia, I would put, for firemen's pension. And we believe that. Joe Whitley is definitely not in that clique down there that we are wanting to get out and to beat in that organization so that we can have a little more say-so in our pension. So, Bill Condon comes over about noontime, the president, and in course of conversation, he's asking me what we're going to do. He said, if you're going to hit me to come up on that podium, he says, I want to know.
Lord Bass back to them grand jury.
I think it was better to discuss it.
Oh, I didn't know you were.
So we got on the subject there a few things with the media. He told me just as seriously. I think he says. I think you got to be prepared. You're not going to have to use those at your time. He said, you might get $75.
Let me tell you
I
something.
turned around, I said, yep, if they do that, you'll have to get $55. So I turned around and paid the $60.
That's right, Tim,
He
right
said-
now.
He said, you're not getting nothing for the first year. He said, you might get $75.
Right now, it's almost 2 and 2. 2 hazardous pay, 2 increments. And that's what they already had.
So evidently, he,
No, they didn't have that
No,
on
I
at all.
mean,
They had you for a consideration of a 56-hour work week the first year.
And a lot of fellas are really in, strong opposition to the $100 across the board. They want at least 100 and 150. 150.
Well, what if they voted it already on the floor?
Jake,
Yes, Jake.
let me tell you what happened in 27 today. They promoted this boy Christopher. They reached over and got this boy a doctorate from 33s because every man up there is a member of this organization, except one, that's Captain Hyde. They went over and got a doctorate and made him a sergeant in 27. Hicks, who is a member of this organization, he was driving. He was on the seat. They put Dockery over there and they put him to drive. And then when Dockery got over there as the sergeant, he took Hicks off and put a comparatively new man driving him. Took Hicks off completely. See. Now this Dockery, I don't know whether y'all know him or not. I was a captain up there for over a year, around a year. Well, he's just about the nearest nothing that's ever come down the pipe. Now, I'm telling you, I'm not because he's supposed to be to the other side. I'm telling you, he is about the nearest nothing.
Because Bolshevik means power. Well, the people, the Bolsheviks the one that threw Russia out of the world now.
SOB is a good word.
That's good.
Well, that's what happened up there today.
Somebody look that up.
You know, I think
Now, the sergeant that made it number ones today, this boy Creel, he turned the sergeant's place down before. He's already turned the sergeant's place down once before. Didn't want a sergeant's place. Now, we all know that George Slade went to him and asked him for it. And he was just as good as told that he didn't think right.
You know, the first time Slade come up, Jack Summers was Slade on. So Jitterbug on him said, sure, it's Slade, he had that sergeant's place, be quiet. They didn't want him to go see Jack Summers. So when it came up to promotion time, they reported to the other one, which one won, and jumped Joe.
Oh, gentlemen, it looked like we're closer to the street than we've been.
Joe hit the ceiling, and he come back, so they promised him this one, to quiet him back. They said the next was George.
Christopher did go with this organization. Of course, he was on the lieutenant's list, and they couldn't hardly could have gone on, but it,
But how does the man make the sergeant from 33 over here unless he has a recommendation? Did he have a recommendation from the captain
They
from
don't know.
27 to pick the man at 33?
they don't know. I asked Nick Carter, well, Nick's not there. I asked him if he's not
Well,
talking.
did anybody see that Fred Bear out in the paper? They let me see that. They fire that goddamn, they gonna run the chief off, try to out there, Mayor Adams, for just such shit as that.
You know, I look
Now,
at it this way.
they, fuck 'em.
It's already
That
done.
Jack
It's in the
Hall
shoebox
taking
in the
Martin,
drawer in there.
goddamn chief's double cross the damn fire.
Okay, I look at it this way. I mean, I think we should draw up a statement citing the different incidents, you know, happened where the non-union has been rated, promoted. And since the mayor of the city doesn't recognize grievance committee of this union, a group of men should just go down and tell them that we're not going to tolerate this because look what happened to Joe. They walked out in the conditions like that. And they walked out. They had differences in the job, so they were satisfied. So we don't have to walk up just because take out the grievances that
Well,
that's the wages.
I'm for going down there tomorrow.
Who was the senior man down there at one point? Real senior was over Slate.
Huh? Real is senior?
Yes, sir. Creel was working there when I went in there. When I went in there, Creel was working.
I got no argument with that.
No, sir. And Slade came in after even after I was down there. Creel was senior man.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about this situation up here.
Up there, jumping in from one house to the other. You're gonna have to check into that to see if all of these men are taking the examination.
Yeah, that's what
Find out if anybody up there had taken the examination. Now, if no one's taking the examination up there, and both, they're all working in the same house, this fellow doctor who's taking the exam, they go, why pick one out of the left field?
Right,
They're both working in the house
done that
together.
at number 20 up there, they didn't take
You
it,
don't
they
think-
did, they
sir,
didn't pass it.
I've got a better qualified man for him out at 26s than they have at 33s.
But these fellas both work in the same house. I mean, it's a 27-33 combination, they work in the same house.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Yeah, but when one of them goes one direction and one goes the
Look at
other,
that water in the
27,
same house.
27's answers with 26, and they don't answer with 26.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gentlemen, we've got quite a few visitors with us tonight. All of them are either directly or indirectly concerned with the problem that's bringing you men out here to the hall. They're either brother firemen with us, or they're people that will, in some way or another, determine our welfare in the future. We've got a delegation here tonight from East Point. Now, how about standing over there, boys? East Point today, as you've been noticing, if you've caught the late news flashes on television, have strictly been backed right up, slapped to the wall without even getting a chance to get their pants up. So they're here to talk with us tonight, and we're going to meet with them after this session, and they're in the same boat, under the same condition that we are. Along in the same vein, we've got our neighbors to the north. We've got a delegation here from Cobb County. How about standing over there, boys? Got another gentleman here in our midst that I think all of you will recognize, and I'm going to leave it to him to introduce the visitor that he has brought along with him. Few of you might know Bill Clack.
That's what it sounded good to do anyway, Bill at home. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here tonight and amongst friends to introduce to you a man that has done many things for the state of Georgia, Atlanta, and South DeKalb County. especially South DeKalb County. This man has been in the DeKalb County area for 19 years. He was one of the first members of the Parks Commission. He was one instrumental in the first Little League park, and he and several people built it. And right now he's a member of the State Banking and Finance Committee, Education Committee, State Cooperative Committee, and Agriculture and Livestock, and the Game and Fish Committee. I give to you incumbent State Senator Frank G. Miller of 43rd District of DeKalb County, and he's a candidate for re-election.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. Martin and gentlemen, I don't see any ladies in the crowd. As you know, I'm the state senator from 43rd District of DeKalb County, but I have about 87,000 people in my district. Of this 87,000, 40,000 of those people live in the city of Atlanta. You might remember during the Sandy Springs crises of the bill that some of the delegation from Fulton County and city of Atlanta says Frank Miller's got nothing to do with this. But before it was over, they found out that Frank Miller had a whole lot to do with it. I represent more people in the city of Atlanta than any two district commissioners from Fulton County. So actually I have a lot to do with all the legislation that is presented and passed by the General Assembly concerning the city of Atlanta. Some of the things that you and I have in common. You know, the City Hall don't care much about me. They don't like me for some reason. Ivan Allen wants to get rid of me.
That's a recommendation.
Eugene Patterson, he thinks I'm about the most obnoxious thing that ever was elected to the General Assembly. And of course, Ralph McGill is not too fond of me either. Baldy had me in his cartoon this past year 3 times, and all of it was derogatory. But they say if you make Baldy once, you're doing pretty good. If you make it twice, you're really on the ball. If you make it 3 times, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But I understand there will be some legislation probably introduced by the administration next year that might affect you fellows some way or other. I want to let you know that I have followed your plight, your problem with great interest. And I want you to know, sitting out on the corner of Rainbow and Columbia Drive in the southwest section of DeKalb County, you have a friend. I'm interested in your problem. I work with my tools once myself. I know what it means to have to get out, not like it is today in air conditioning. We used to have to sweat for what we made. I worked for 10 cents an hour, 10 hours a day to make $1. I know what it means. Of course, things were cheap in those days. It didn't take much money, but jobs were scarce too. Now, with the inflationary period, some of you fellows are still trying to live off of the same type of salary, or the same salary that we've gotten years ago. Atlanta's has one of the highest cost of living index of any city in the United States. Yet we find that the employees of the city of Atlanta are lower across the board than a lot of the major cities in the country. Now, this could have been corrected a long time ago. Of course, you probably felt like, I'm sure, and some people felt like that you had taken drastic action here a while back, but sometimes you have to be drastic. We'd like for everything to rock along smooth. You know, I've been married a long time, and I'd like for everything to have been pretty smooth, but every once in a while, I mean, the old lady had to get down to brass tacks. But we get things worked out, and we still living together. Well, I know what we want to do. We want to live together, and you want to work with the administration. But there's nobody that likes to be ignored. When I ran for office last time and won, a lot of people came to me and said, you know the reason I voted for you? And I says, no. They say, you asked me to. People like to be consulted. Nobody likes to be taken for granted. And I think what you fellows want, you want to be considered, like other people are considered. So I just wanted to come by tonight and tell you that if I'm reelected to the General Assembly, the State Senate, next year, I don't know what kind of legislation is coming, but in my position, in the Senate, we have what we call unanimity. This is the word, the term they don't like. Because the only way that they can get around me on legislation is to go through a committee and bypass me and put it on the floor for debate and then vote on it. Well, these country boys from South Georgia, they resent a lot of time being taken up in the Senate with City of Atlanta legislation. And if you remember on the Sandy Springs issue, when I offered my amendment I got 44 votes, and the city administration got 3. This should tell you something. And when it goes in committee, if I'm bypassed on the bill, it's something we don't like. Well, I can assure you, you'll have some friends on the floor. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to obstruct the bill or stop a bill. They call me an obstruction, but I've never obstructed any bill. Sometimes I can amend them pretty good, you know, where they don't matter too much. But we don't obstruct or stop any bills. We just amend them to death. And when the amendment's attached on, well, then they don't mean too much. So this is the approach sometimes you have to take. But I want you to know that I'm sympathetic with your problem. I'd like to meet with some of your officials in the future and more often as these things come up so we can better solve them. And I'm sure that you have a better day over the hill in your job in the city of Atlanta. Thank you.
I was over at a meeting over on Rockville about a couple of weeks ago when Metro Man said it's going to be our next governor. I think you might remember I spoke to you.
I certainly do, yes.
I received a letter in the mail the other day from a man begging money from a poor farmer.
That sounds like my opponent.
Johnson, I want you to know.
Yes, he's just another Johnson. No, I think what this fellow, I appreciate the friendly question. I do have I'm a Republican, as you know, one of those notorious Republicans. And I can tell you this, I'm ashamed of some of the people that's in the Republican Party, like some of the Democrats are ashamed of some of their people. But we have a fellow that's been to Cabot County about 2 years, and of course he wants to try his wings, and he wants to see what he wants to do, so he's running against me in the Republican primary. He has this right. He has this privilege. But I think that my seniority in the state Senate will stand me in good stead. Of course, if I can take this opportunity to solicit support, I'd be happy to do it. Of course, you can't vote for a Democrat. You have to vote in the primary just for a Republican. And I know there's probably some Democrats in this crowd. You have some Democrat friends. But old Frank needs your help, and you have a friend, and I hope you remember me. But in general election in November, if I get by the primary, of course, then it's everybody's fight. You can vote for Democrats, Republicans, and everything. We'll really go to town then. But anybody can speak a good word for me, I appreciate it. And if any other question they'd like to ask me, I'd be happy to ask them about it. Well, but I tell you what I found out, he can take you to the nicest places, though. That's
Gentlemen, I know we appreciate Mr. Miller taking his time to come out. We have supposedly on short notice, we asked a couple other gentlemen to come by. If they come, we'll just interrupt the order of business we have and let them speak to you a few moments. We didn't give them very much notice. Where's Jake standing? Jake, who did you contact today? Said they'd like to come out, but it was short notice.
Well, I talked to Wesley Higgins about, well, I just fooled with the Republicans today.
It's our Republican today.
Joe Higginbottom said he had another engagement. He's trying to get by here before the meeting is over. Westlake said he'd be here next week. Jack Tennessee will be here.
Next week. George, you got?
Have you heard about this meeting Sunday?
Yes, I'll make the announcement on that in just a moment. Also, Rodney Green, I believe, right, Rodney up here then. Yeah, Rodney contacted Mr. Zach Cravey, and he's looking for Zach to come, is that right? He's supposed to be here if he can get here tonight. So, I'm sure you want to hear from all of them. Also, in that same vein, Sunday, that's this coming Sunday, at 3 o'clock, right here at the Teamsters Hall, downstairs in the big hall, Tony and all the boys here at the Teamsters have asked us to come, bring our wives, and help them support some candidates that they're offering. I believe the main speakers they're going to have on the podium down there Sunday will be Ellis Arnold for governor. What is Caldwell's person? Mr. Caldwell, who's running against Ben T. Hewitt for Commissioner of Labor, and that's Joe Gershom, in it, that most of you have met in your stations around, who's running for state legislature. Now, probably will be some others, but they've asked us to help them to swell the auditorium, to give them a big crowd to these people that they've asked to come out. That's this coming Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's a bad time, but we should point that out.
Well,
they, of course, they made it primarily for the Teamsters, but they asked us to come 3 o'clock, hour or so to set in out there. It'd be just before change time Sunday afternoon. You can come on in, come in uniform if you want to, go right on to work, what have you. But we would like to get as many of you as you will show up out here, and let's give these Teamsters some support as they've given us support in the past. Before we continue on to business, I believe we've got a couple of new members. What new members have we got here on the floor tonight? How about coming forward, if you will, gentlemen? New members. Stand right in front of me, if you will. Face me. Barnes, and what's your name? McGinnis. Where are you from, McGinnis?
Station
Number 2. Gentlemen, we've got 2 applicants for new members. They have fulfilled the obligations that you have adopted at your previous meetings. Do I hear a motion that they be accepted? Motion been made, Mr. Wesley Garrett, that they be accepted. Where's the second? Forrest Fitted, second the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Is there any opposed? All right, gentlemen, you will place your right hand over your left breast, please. And repeat your name, please. I do hereby and hereon most solemnly and sincerely promise and swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and bylaws of the Atlanta Firefighters Union Independent and the majority vote on any issue affecting the welfare of the Union. That I will not at any time work against the Union in any way that will be detrimental to its cause. I further promise that I will not mistreat a brother Union member who is working for the best interest of the Union, nor will I fraternize with any avowed or definitely anti-non-Union member. I further promise to support organized labor by purchasing Union-made goods and services wherever possible, and will not talk against organized labor in any manner that would be detrimental to the labor movement. Do you so do so?
I do.
All right, gentlemen, I welcome you into our organization, and then let's give them a hand. Please forgive me, it's the first time we've used this obligation, but I think in the future it would be to our credit, bring all of our new members forward to be recognized. Let's have a, Ms. Secretary, anything to report? Got 2 things to add tonight. Is there anybody here that hasn't turned their complete list in on these obligations? I think that I've only got 4 stations. These papers right here. Every member in this organization is supposed to sign one. I've got 3 or 4 stations. Where's the rest of them? They were all put out here 3 weeks ago. Every station. That's it. Well, we've got to get these things filled out as soon as possible and back to us for our records and to affirm everybody's stand in the union. Also, we need another thing from each station. We need a list of everybody's name that's in the union and everybody's payroll number. On your paycheck, there's a little number on the lower left-hand corner. There's your payroll number. I believe Brother George Pittman can explain this a little further. This is going to set up our checkoff system with the city to take the union dues out of the paycheck. The Comptroller's office has stated that they need a letter from this union that we request that and a list of every member and their payroll number. And this will start as quick as we can get that list to you. So I need that list immediately, if not soon. Here comes a bunch of these things right now. But I still have a bunch more. This I need to file about 3 times that big to get 600 of them. And we should have, as near as we can figure right at the present time, 598 dues-paying members. But we have had 17 in the past month that quit the department, left this organization. They just quit the department. That's the reason they left. And another thing, on this other collection I'm talking about, I don't know if y'all know what I'm referring to, but for a certain man, it's still a little bit slow. I got approximately a third of the stations have reported back to me on that. How about the blood? Another thing, the blood for man 31. There was a few men promised me that they would go get blood for McDonald. McDonald here tonight. Yeah. How did the blood turn out? Let him explain it to you. I had a hold up on some replaced? Yeah, so far it's been replaced. You want these men to volunteer to hold off 4 weeks? No, there is one other possibility if somebody for the purchase of the house may need some. And, I told him if it came up and they needed it before that time, to go ahead, maybe we could get some of the other ones. Maybe that is this 4 weeks at a time. Get it. I was asking Matt if we will just to hold on for this 4 weeks up, because he's always on the scene when we go out.
Thank you, Mac. Folks, did you have something to add on that?
Yes, since you mentioned the blood, I'd like all the fellows to know that if you go to pay, if you place this blood back before you get your bill, on the hospitalization, they don't pay anything. So anytime you get some information. But I just, had that happen to me. If you pay the blood back, it's full of this, I can genuinely pay $25 for a transfer. But, if you pay the blood back something and get credit for something, they sure ain't gonna pay nothing. That's just like, we had kind of an argument, and I ended up over in Capitol talking to Blaine on when he said,
We're used to that on it, folks. All right, gentlemen, we have another one about a visitor showing up, so I'm going to suspend the business this time and ask Jake Stanley to introduce this visitor to us. Jake?
Well, as you know, I'm not too much of a master of ceremonies. However, a good friend of mine lives down in DeKalb County from an old DeKalb County family. I've been knowing his daddy for a long time, know his wife and his family. Joe's a fine DeKalb County representative. He represents a lot of you men that live in DeKalb County and vote in DeKalb County. So he's running for House of Representative, District 119, post number 4. And I won't take up any of your time. I'll just go ahead and introduce him, Mr. Joe Higginbottom.
Thank you very much, Jake. I thought if you would give me just a moment or two to tell you some of the things that transpired during the last session of the legislature. It was my first trip over there last time, and I found out that being a Republican and being from South DeKalb County and being a freshman in the legislature, I found out that I didn't really mean much to those fellows over there as far as statewide legislation was concerned. But I found out something a little different when it came down to local legislation, and particularly legislation of a local nature that pertained to the city of Atlanta, and legislation which pertained to each of you and your jobs. And one particular piece of legislation that I worked a good little bit on was relative and directly affected each and every one of you. I had a friend of mine lived in East Atlanta and who's an employee of the city of Atlanta. He came to me and he said, Joe, he said, there's something wrong over there. And he says, I think you ought to do something about it. And I asked him what it was, and he says, well, I've been with the city now for X number of years, and when I retire, in order to exercise my constitutional right to run for public office, I've got to give up my pension. I've got to give up something that I've spent 25 or 30 years of my life working for. I've got to give this up if I want to be a first-class citizen like everyone else and be able to run for public office. Well, I didn't think he knew what he was talking about. And I told him that I'd check on it. So I went down to the Legislative Council and I asked him to look this law up for me. Well, the Legislative Council is about 9 or 10 lawyers that work for the legislature. They work for the House and the Senate. They draft bills, they give us opinions, and they work for nobody but the legislature, the legislators. Well, they couldn't find it. And they looked through every bill that relative to the retirement of city employees, and they couldn't come up with it. So a little later on, during the session, the city comptroller came over to me and he had a bill there that he wanted us to sign. You see that we have 4 representatives in DeKalb County from our district, which represents approximately 44,000 people in the city of Atlanta. And in order to get any local bill for the city of Atlanta passed through the House of Representatives without coming to the floor as a general bill, it's got to have 2 out of the 4 of us sign it. It's got to have 2 out of the 4 of us to sign this bill. Well, I told the fellow that I had asked him also to get me some information on this thing, and he says that wasn't the case, so the guy was just misinformed. And I says, well, I'll sign this bill for you if you will give me an opinion from your office saying that this is not the case, or if you will bring me the bill. Well, he then came back and found the bill, and sure enough, there it was in the law, passed in 1961. And it said if any
any retired employee of the city of Atlanta must forfeit his pension if he's going to run for public office. Well, as soon as we found it, we had a bill drafted, we introduced it and got it past the House and passed the Senate. We got it past the Senate on the last day. And we had quite a bit of reluctance. In fact, we had some opposition to the bill from some of the Fulton County legislators, a few of them, but we did get the bill passed. But I point this out primarily to let you know that even though that I personally don't live in the city of Atlanta, I live in DeKalb County. I'm elected by people in both the city of Atlanta and outside the city of Atlanta in DeKalb County. And just about approximately 1/2 of the total district that I represent lies within the city of Atlanta. And any time that your group here has legislation that they would like to introduce, well, I'd be happy at any time to work with you on it and to help in any way that I can. And I hope that you'll call on me, and I look forward to being your representative again next year. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'm sure those are words that you are wanting to hear, because we too have anticipated that legislation possibly will be aimed at us come January when the legislature convenes. It's good to know that we've got some people over there that we can sit down now and we'll listen to it and talk to it. I know you want to get along. I know we've got some information that you want to hear and want to talk about. Let me run right there. First, we better get a roll call right quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, signal office, Dr. Benson, shop. Union office. Concerning the following companies did not answer 25, signal office, fire prevention, training time.
All right. Let's get a quick report from our committees right quick. Jake, anything further on committees you got to report?
I'd rather each committee represent themselves, Jack.
All right. Ernest, how about your committee on membership?
Well, all thing I like to say, we have a lot of men, new men coming in, and a lot of men left. These shop stewards could help us out a whole lot by sending Brother George there down to office. Any transfers or new men you sign up. It's been a problem getting the whole thing then. Brother George wants a name and address of all the members. I asked for the address of the non-members, so here we go back again. So when you send this thing in with your payroll number, we just as easy to go ahead and put the man's home address now. I think Brother George won't transfer his file. It's quite a problem to get 600 names. Then try to transfer around these different places, you can't have contact them. So if you got his home address burned, I would get something matter for George to take care of everything like that. Other than that, it's about all I got to tell you.
Yes.
I went through the dues book down there yesterday and today. According to my record, we have 560 members paid up through July. So therefore you know that some of the men are a little bit behind. 3 men have paid through July and gone into the service. 10 men paid through July and resigned. 8 men paid through June and resigned. And we have 8 new members, including these 2 that we took in tonight.
Thank you, George. Gentlemen, we'll suspend again. An old friend of ours just walked in. I think you'll all recognize. Like to ask Rodney Green, invite him up to introduce Mr. Will, please. Rodney?
I'm not a speaker, as all you know, but I just thought y'all like to hear from Mr. Cravey, and all of you familiar with him, and I'm sure in the past, during his past administration, you've kept up with how he's helped the fire department and tried
try to help us. He's in the process now trying to get reelected, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you anything about him. He is now speaking, Mr. Trail. Well, you know, I sort of feel at home, fellas. Feel like we might get back together one of these days. It is indeed a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate very much you inviting me out here. But incidentally, you know, we need some markers around here. I rode about 9 miles extra to get here. Let me ask a question to you. Is everybody here farming?
That's right.
God, diggity.
Trigger, we have represented East Point and Cobb County also tonight.
Well, I'm delighted to see it. I appreciate very much indeed this opportunity. I never will forget when we first started on this journey of getting a little retirement for you fellows. I used to be a fireman myself. I was on the city council and got to be mayor, and we had a kind of a volunteer outfit. And I enjoyed every minute of it. The average person don't know. He walks those streets and the highways, he don't know the real beauty of a fireman. He don't know the ramifications. He don't know that you've got to be a good fireman, you've got to study it. You've got to learn it. It's not a science, but it's the next thing to being a real profession. And it's a strange thing to me. And it has been for lo these many years. That you read your papers, you hear from the city hall, you hear from the state capitol, they'll give certain segments of the employees, step by step, an increase in wage ever so often. But damn if I ever hear anything about them giving the fireman an increase. And I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. You're like a doctor. When you get sick, you need a doctor.
Based on the guidelines for handling agreements, I'd like to submit these to the executive board for study. For their approval, they'll outline what they hope the board. We're working over again. We can find out right now.
How about bring one forward, then let's look at it. Gentlemen, grievance has been a big point here. It's something that we hadn't gotten off the ground because the other activities have been engaged in with our mediation and other points that the executive board has not had time to go into and investigate and find out the facts on some of these grievances that are coming up. And for that reason, we felt it was necessary that we go ahead and get a grievance committee operating that can go in and do some investigative work to find the nature of the grievances and the worthiness of them and submit back to your executive board for further action. I have a little trouble with my tape recorder won't squeak. All right, they've got two things here, some for the station steward and some for the scope and purpose. It's quite lengthy, and I'm going to hold right this time about going into this because we've got a lot of other business if you don't just... That'll be fine. It looks like it's been very well prepared. It's very well gone into. From what I'm sitting with them.
I didn't say that out of different state standards, so nothing said. You're recording, you're recording.
It's going mighty fast, so you're going to have to listen before I change. Turn it over.
How about your meal? Is your meeting high enough? Reading your voice?
All the way over.
Okay, swell.
But he's picking up the air conditioner while he's doing it.
You'll have to listen over that. Is it all the way over constantly?
bouncing off the peg.
Slow it down a little bit.
Speed, the
Now the
volume.
volume.
Alright, that's it.
Now reading your voice. Can you hear it, see it? Is it bugging now?
Yes, you're bugging about, almost halfway up the scale.
Gentlemen, if you don't mind, I'll take up the least important factor first. Approve? In other words, I received through the mail the Constitution of the Georgia State Firemen's Association and a proposed bylaw change which is required to be filed with the Secretary and Treasurer of that organization 30 days before the annual convention is to meet. We received this in my section on the 15th of this month, which was 5 days less, or 5 days too late to file an alternate proposal to it. Now, this deal is not inconsistent with that which has gone on before. If you'll remember last year, there was a proposed change in the benefits for the pension years with a reduction in the rates for the men that had got hurt or injured in the line of duty. In other words, the heart or respiratory disease. That one took the entire membership to beat. In other words, they had one hell of a fight to beat that. It was the old man trying to get a few more dollars in his pocket with a complete disregard of the young man getting hurt or injured. And it took a hell of a fight to stop. It is a proposal to change the article number 12 from the bylaws of this organization, and it reads as follows. Whereas the corporation recognizes the improbability of getting all of its members who are firemen in convention at one time, it is hereby provided that each city or member department may have one vote for each 10 members of the active fire department who have paid their dues to this corporation, and an additional vote for the fraction of the 10 thereof. It shall be the duty of the Secretary of Treasury to notify each city or member department by newsletter not less than 60 days before the time and place of the next annual conference. Gentlemen, that sentence in itself is ambiguous at this point. If the letter is mailed to the city or to the chief of the department, he does not necessarily have to show it to the rest of the members of the organization.
Why do you say that?
Because if I was the chief of the department, such as we are here, and I didn't want you to know about it, I just put it in my desk and forget about it.
It wouldn't be mailed to the members of the department.
Well, it would be mailed to the city or to the chief of the department. The individual members would not be notified. that a conference was even going to exist. All right, and each city or member department, through its chief, if he is a member of this organization, or its immediate next highest senior officer, who is a member of this organization, shall notify the Secretary and Treasurer of this association not less than 30 days before the date of the convention or conference of his name or his designated alternate representative or delegate who shall have one vote, and the name of the delegate or delegates duly elected by the active members of the city or member department in good standing with this association, who shall have the right to cast the remaining vote or votes of the entire paid active membership of said department on the basis, that is, said delegate or delegate shall be entitled to one vote for each 10 members or fraction of the last 10 thereof who have paid their dues to this corporation, less one vote of the chief, if a member or his immediate next highest senior officer who is a member of this association, or his delegated alternate representative or delegate. If the city or member department and the chief prefers, didn't say he shall, but if he likes to, he can delegate to one man the right to vote the entire paid membership of the said department on the same basis as hereinbefore enumerated. No city or member department shall be entitled to more than 10 votes. It further goes on to say, in determining who has paid his dues and how many votes these delegates shall be allowed, the books of the Secretary Treasurer shall be consulted, and they shall be binding upon the delegate or delegates. And that should be changed, and I'll put that. Should any city or member department, well, in other words, it goes on to tell them, if they don't do this, they've got a way of coming in. But this up in front is what the meat of this situation. You know and I know that there's never been a conference held at the Georgia State Farmers Association in the city of Atlanta. Our votes have always been assumed by the 134. Whether the members of the Georgia State Conference were a member of the 134 or not made no damn difference to them. And whether they knew who the delegates were, or did not know there was a convention going on. They never sent a delegate to the Georgia State Conference. But we have been casting 10 votes down.
I understand that to be an amendment to a regulation.
This is a proposed change in the bylaw.
That's what I mean, the bylaws. Do you have the original bylaws?
I don't have them with me, I have them on my desk.
Somebody has it.
Yeah, we just found them, Jack took them with my lead.
They just said that there's...
What is it changed, Leonard?
In other words, they used to, in other words, you were supposed to have held a charter meeting or a conference here of the delegates in this city and selected the delegates to go down there and entitle them to use your vote, cast your vote for you. That's never been done.
We don't do that.
No, we do not do that. We have never done that.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
the delegates should be instructed before you can do a convention.
Here we are.
I don't need to be asking silly questions. I have never paid attention to this organization. I'll give them a dollar each and all that sort of stuff.
But don't they
It's
know?
like that and a lot of other things I should have been paying attention to.
You want me to read section 12?
Not necessarily, I
In
just
the
want to know
past,
the difference.
when they vote on the floor of 134 to send so-and-so to the delegate.
Yes, sir, but you can't do it on the floor of 134. 134 didn't have but 100 members or 150 members, and they were not all members of the Georgia State Farmers Association.
I know in the past now, I'm not talking about now. We voted to send them somewhere. What was that?
Well, you sent them to all sorts
We
of
sent it to
properties.
Jackal Island.
But in other words, you
Well, they
can't
had
vote
this
in 134
blues
to
party.
send this to
Huh?
the Georgia State
Blues
Congress.
party. Well, I don't know what they sent out. Some of them did boo. Some did.
Well, the 134 was not the charter of the
Maybe we don't
Georgia
have
State
the time,
Congress.
so I think we got other things.
How would it be selected, previously, as far as the solicitation?
Where was the one
I'm gonna take my minutes for next month, you got to concentrate everything you got on next month. Just
134
next
from
month,
the
it's a
end.
push, we'll make our presentation in front of you, that's the end.
They were selected by members of
Is that the
the
end
members of
of
this
it? That's the
thing.
only meeting?
Yes, sir.
134 had no legal right to select any member to this organization. Because there were members in that hall that were not members of this. And there were members on the outside that didn't have the right to vote that weren't members of this organization. This is a separate and distinct, separate organization from the union.
I thought that they sent around those things for every member to vote, who they sent down as delegates each year. This all.
That was for the pension board.
No,
That was bang,
well,
bang.
they had, they on the floor, 11 men to send delegates to this convention from 134, not,
They sent 11 votes, they didn't send 11
I
men.
mean, they could send, the delegates now, have one or however many they want to send. 11 men and pay 10 men that night for the convention.
In other words, Station 26 was 100% in Georgia State Firemen's Association, but they were not 100% in 134. So 134 was voting for its non-members.
Well, that, now, we didn't form the, oh, I see what you.
Now,
Let me
you get-
understand, let me
now-
understand
They were
what
carrying
we're trying
votes
to
for
do
people
here
that they didn't
tonight.
even
We're trying
represent.
to, we're trying to put this thing back into the membership.
Into the hands of the membership of the Georgia
So
State
we're not-
Congress.
Yeah.
And the members thereof.
Send the delegates down there, so.
Not good.
We'll only be able to do that at the convention, right?
So they didn't have any representation
We'll only be able to do that at the
they should have
convention.
had.
I will have to have a word on it.
Because they were not members of 134, they couldn't even vote
In
on
other
the
words,
delegates. They were
those
going down and
representatives
do
that cast the
business
vote
for
for
them.
George.
That's
right.
And they have been instructed how to cast the
that, but hoping nobody would ever
Now,
say
I understand, in this
like
proposed
done many
change
things.
that, the chief has, authority to, appoint, select one man to cast the votes,
If you
in a way
read
he
this
sees
very
fit.
closely, in other words, you do not have to hold a conference this time. The city electors can select the delegates, and if the men desire to get together, they can select the other delegates, or the chief can just assign delegates, or the city can assign delegates.
It also stated that the chief can, designate one man to cast 10 votes in one direction.
What is your proposal here tonight to do?
I propose that when we get on the floor, we cannot.
In other words, wait a minute, let me ask you this before. Your primary purpose, in other words, we've already said we're gonna send 3 men down there, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, we get down there, first thing you gotta do is get recognized, right?
Right. And how do we do that? I propose that we do that by a signed, notarized proxy from each man who wishes those 3 men to cast his vote.
That's right, all right. Now,
That's the only way that I can see that would be anywhere near feasible and be absolute binding.
now that's what we got to do here tonight.
We can't do it here tonight because.
Well, I mean,
do
we
not-
got to set up your structure for it, that's what I'm asking.
The lawyer will draw the proxy. He will draw the proxy tomorrow.
Now, we are gonna do that.
Yes, no, but I propose that we do that.
Come with me tomorrow.
I propose that we have them ready at the meeting tomorrow if the mimeograph machine will run.
The mimeograph machine will run.
Look at it this way.
Now, what I'm trying to do is get this thing down, get the meat of it, get over with it, let's get on with it.
I understand. I'm trying,
Yeah.
well, first thing
We
I
got
had to
to
set
be-
a foundation so you would understand exactly what we were up against. You do not know, and you explained to me, you do not know what this organization does. This organization controls the Georgia Fireman's Pension Fund. It also controls the educational funds that go to Georgia Tech. It is now being used to try and finance 2 Georgia State fire colleges in the state. And Mr. McGill, in other words, if you'll pardon the expression, absolutely is so confident of the position that he thinks he is going to be dean of that school without an education, without project school. He thinks he can pull it off. This I asked today Mr. Cox, who is the head of the Industrial Education Division of Georgia Tech and who is in charge of the fire service training. I presented this to Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox, and he said it is not Judge Dwyer. The chief ran the McGill of it, and I read it like it was right.
I think the majority of the members of this organization, that association, are members of this new union. And 134 can't cast votes.
They still can if they assume the right and they're not challenged.
Right.
You see what I'm talking about? They've done it before and nobody ever challenged.
If you have your affidavit, you can come.
I can challenge.
I know one of the first things when you first, you'll have to go to credentials for me.
I will go to the credentials and
All right.
present the affidavits of these men assigning the right to cast their vote in this form.
I want to make sure, there's so many fellas say, well, I don't know what I belong to. Because I
What are
think
you
that
gonna call that?
each man in charge of the house can
What
check
are you
his
gonna
own
call
slip.
You say you're gonna make up.
A proxy, a notarized proxy, a voting proxy.
I don't think 134 can cast votes for members of the non-associated.
No, this year I'm going to try and do something in a different form. No, it is not. If you let me finish, I really got to
Right now, number one, we're gonna send 3 men to that's what we got to settle.
I don't know how many, it doesn't matter if you don't send but one if he's a forceful person.
Well,
I would say within the finances of the organization. We don't want to bind ourselves right now. We may need our money. Send as many as you deem necessary.
Right. All right. Furnish notarized voting proxy.
Right.
All right. Number 3.
Have them sign tomorrow and get the rest of them signed as soon as possible thereafter by the station stewards.
But be sure these fellas are not signing just to be signing.
Well, Lord, I know of no other way to control that, Stanley, other than to ask them.
Some of them won't know. They won't know their
They
name.
will, well, the house dues usually collected that dollar.
That's what we can say. It checks for the slips.
We got every station got a slip.
You send in a list, you should have it, and check right in the back and check it for the
All you gotta do is
1966.
fill out
What they have to do is you collect each month.
I think work that
Get
through
your
the
list
station
month.
stewards, first thing out in the morning now.
I
You
get
have
them
time to check
mixed
the
up.
station stewards right around.
All right, now I propose,
I have people vote.
now I propose that we on the floor, that committee on the floor, if it gets the right to get on the floor, make the following amendment to this proposal. And the bylaws do not exclude an amendment, and they are following the Roberts Rules of Order. Therefore, the proposal is in order. It was made in time. But it does not exclude an amendment to a proposal. And I have worded one here, and actually you gentlemen will have to reword it. I speak my mind and then I edit it. In other words, something on the order of this. The members of the Georgia Firemen's Association from the Atlanta area and the 5th District received the proposed bylaw changes to our Constitution in the station on July the 15th, 5 days beyond the date for a counter proposal. We are of the opinion that this is without doubt the most abusive disregard of the individual rights to vote that any organization has ever been confronted with. This is Judge Dwyer's or other parties' idea of democracy in action. It is no wonder that we have had so many problems to face. This is the opening statement, trying to get this amendment accepted. We, the members from the 5th District, feel that this proposal is the direct results of the amendment, is the direct result of the members' action of the Atlanta Fire Department in breaking the despotic rule of casting our votes without even telling us that we had one. This delegation to this convention is armed with the written permission of every member who wishes his vote to be counted, and if they are now not counted, there will be a lot less members from the 5th district next year. And I believe from across the state, as the other member departments realize they are being used for the profit and prestige of the few instead of the welfare of the firefighters as a whole. Therefore, we intend to make an amendment to the proposal in the following form. Amendment to paragraph 12, following right in after the first paragraph. It shall be the duty of the Secretary-Treasurer to notify each member by newsletter not less than 60 days before the time and place of the next annual conference. Each member in good standing shall have one vote. However, due to the improbability of attendance by all, each man shall have the right to assign his vote by written notarized proxy to another member of his choice. These proxies are to be affirmed by the seating committee at the time of convention, and that the business of the conference shall not be precluded by requiring 30 days written notice to the President, Secretary, and Treasurer of all proposals to be made on the floor of the conference, but that all proposals shall be in written form and shall be presented to the Secretary Treasurer on the first day of the conference. Period. I still believe in one vote, one man, $1, one vote.
Be a power grab, you're beating that.
Huh?
I think you're beating right there, because some of these smaller cities will not do it. They figure it's a power grab.
We're going to show them where the power grab is before.
It's a power grab there. If you just say we have a department has 20 members to the department, we walk through them, we go down there with 600 members. You have to work on a ratio. My opinion, you have to work on a ratio.
I do not buy the county unit system, gentlemen, any longer.
But I don't care if you buy it or not, but it's not going to work in those smaller counties. I think if you can work on a county vote, if you want to work the 10 to 1, just leave it alone the way it is on there. And I do believe that in your bylaws right there, give you these counties. Now, we have been all over the state of Georgia. And I feel very strong about this, that you can go around here and say, what men are what counties? A man speaks up, he says his county, you say, who do you know in that county? Let him contact the people in his own county or the firemen in that county. Let him start doing the talking, because then it is personal contacts and maybe kin folks and all that kind of business, which goes pretty strong from this area. And I think that we might be able to make a turn there. Have your proposal, let me agree for any other way you want to set it up, and let the spokesman for us that's going to be our representative in these counties take this with it and present it to the men who belong to the
Do
organization.
you know how long it will take us to contact each county in the state of Georgia with 159 counties?
How do you know how long it'll take until you try it?
God damn, boy.
How do you know?
When are you willing to take several counties?
I said the men who know people in the counties will find out how many people have relatives, friends, cousins, sisters, brothers, uncles, and such.
This
in
conference
counties.
comes off the 10th of next month. It is now the 17th?
That's right. What we like to do. In fact, right now, I think we're wasting time on this. I think we've got next Monday's the day we gotta fight for. We're fighting for our lives for next Monday. And that's the only day, and the way I understand it, we only have got one day. And it's gonna be whatever the hours are.
Well,
4
now,
hours,
we're
5
trying to
hours,
get
6 hours.
confused back to the other issue. I wanted to settle this one and then go through that one.
That's the reason I'm trying to make this.
That's
That's why I think it's
In other words, I'm ready to move off of this one right
The
now.
power grab, and another thing, we said we received that on the 15th. Do you have the envelope that says it was mailed after the date?
It was mailed on the 13th.
Well, I think you should keep the envelope with it, so it goes together, so you can say, well, so-and-so, so-and-so, say, here it is, brother.
Now, in other words, if this discussion is through, I'll close it.
No, wait a minute.
No, you gotta answer this, we've got this open, but I think it's a power grab, and I don't think they'll buy
It is a power grab, and it's a power grab from the Atlanta area.
Yes.
Not from down South Georgia, but
No,
from the Atlanta
area.
Well, what could you, how could, you got two paragraphs, you got a paragraph by the chiefs wanting the power, and you got a paragraph by the Atlanta Fire Department.
We don't want the power. In other words, I'm willing to put those 10 votes, 1 vote for 10 in there, a limit of 10 votes for Atlanta. Now, it suits me fine. But I do say if you don't stop the chiefs, it will then become a organization
Well,
of fire chiefs.
I thought you said that we had, that we were doing that to send the delegates. I thought you said that what
The delegates, in other words, to the Georgia State Firemen's Association, once we have won this battle and got them a free vote, the Georgia State Firemen's Association can hold its conference anytime it wants to and elect its own delegates, and we won't be bothered with it as far as this union is concerned. But what we are bothered with now is, in other words, the members of this union have been completely disfranchised for several years.
They're just paying.
We're just paying the dues, that's all you're doing. You're paying for the meeting to go on there, that's all you're doing.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
So it was just, it's really an
Well,
actual
what would be an
sideline.
alternate plan? What would be an alternate plan to get away from it and still, you have everybody represented and I don't know.
Well, okay, so
That
I just
must
came
not be
back
my
from the
case.
convention yesterday where we had something like 1,900 something folks. Soon as South Georgia, 10th district, and sometimes you get the 7th district with you. That's about it. As soon as they find out how Atlanta goes, I don't give a damn, don't tell her how water they do in other direction. If it's wrong and they know it's wrong, they go in the other
Well, then
direction.
this will automatically be dead if we let it be surely known who is pushing this thing.
Right.
Because, in other words, Judge Dwyer, in other words, I said the authorship of this was Judge Dwyer. But in other words, you and I know it was not Judge Dwyer. Because it did not come up until right after our organization.
If there would be someone, if we could contact someone from South Georgia to talk to them and bring it in their mind, keep Atlanta out of it right there.
Well, maybe
Let
if we
that
got
party
Joe
bring
over
it
here,
on the
Joe and all
floor.
those contacts down there.
Let
I
them
don't
bring
know.
it on the floor. And I think that would be the answer. But I think if Atlanta brings it on the floor, I think you're in for trouble.
Yeah.
Yet, you may have gained a lot of prestige through our operation.
Yeah.
Right now, we may have gained quite a bit of prestige, but I think it's gonna take a feeler to find out.
I'm willing. All right, let's drop it, close it.
No, let's
Go ahead and drop it.
What we're gonna do. Let's do something.
I say, in other words, we've got to go to the convention and we've got to try, one way or the other.
Yeah.
In the back rooms if necessary,
That's
we've
where,
got to try.
that's where I think it's gonna be taken. That's where you're gonna win.
The night before, the hotel,
Oh, that's right.
the 2 nights before, contact people.
That's why I went to Mr. Cox today. Mr. Cox, we have a terrific amount of Flint Bucks.
All right, now this executive board tonight's got to come up with something that you're gonna bring this to the floor
I would say we should bring it to the
for
floor.
a concurrent.
Right.
All right.
We should
Number
have
one, you're gonna send 3 men to the convention.
delegates to the
3
convention,
delegates to the convention.
armed with a
Furnish
proxy.
them with a notarized voting proxy. Require full recognition.
Try and overcome the situation that's developing from rule change 12.
Now, has this definitely been set at 3, excuse me, I want to find out, has it definitely been set at 3 men?
That's your business. I'm
Well,
not
now,
trying to
in
tell
our
you.
last executive,
They
meeting the
suggested
other morning,
3.
we suggested 3 men. And we all voted to send 3 men.
We suggested 3, we suggested, no less.
I think they would take that.
We're gonna work
You
it
guys
out.
are working on 3 now between 159.
But you got amount of expense to us with very little coming back to us from it.
Yeah.
You also can sell this union at that same convention, gentlemen.
That's right,
That's what I was thinking.
Well, let's
We'll
go.
have a maximum of
Sell this
10 votes.
union seat.
Let's go, I think 3 is not enough.
Okay, well, like I say, I'm gonna put down 2.5 days.
No city shall be entitled to more.
About the second or third
All
thing
you
that
gotta
has
get is
to be
one
is
hundred
do it
proxies.
on the other one, so
You don't need the entire 500,
About the second or third
Now, we're
question.
looking from down there.
I think it's
Oh,
something.
yeah, I just need 100.
That's all you gotta have.
But it's still
But
in town.
it's
It's
still
in
in
town.
town.
Challenges. They sell it, give me 500.
They have their good one.
Okay?
They do have right, and they are scared to death.
Like I said, if I send a letter, maybe the person contact me, find me, takes quite some time to do that.
Where is this?
This is a very expensive place in Jekyll. And men are going to, if we could go in mass form, find bear on expenses, fine. But I don't think the men can do it.
I don't think they should.
I know, but our treasury won't support a mass immigration.
Well, it'll cost you.
You say $12, $13 a piece a day for your hotel room fees.
No, in other words, the hotel room reservations this year are $12 for a single man per night.
I mean, how long is this convention gonna last?
3 days.
I don't think she said big.
Could we afford $500?
We used to be all right for, but we just going the other night. She said at least 3.
I'd say 3 would be number on our first attempt.
I think next year.
I understand what Kevin's talking about. Now, you going down there primarily
To sell in the backyard.
yeah, there you go.
Sell in the back.
You also gonna sell AFFUAINE?
More than anything else.
You're damn right. So, that's what I wanted, this reason I said the other day,
Gentlemen, I have to go around the corner sometimes to get the point.
Well, you don't have to, it's just, you my friends here.
You're not trying to grab policy.
All right.
You're trying to stop
I'm trying to
another
stop,
grab.
Paul, and that's the position that I've
And when
got to
you're
be in
trying-
all the time down there.
And when you're trying to stop this,
Would
same
you,
people
let me make a motion. I make a motion that we settle on the number now. Let's
I'll
get
take
this-
that motion.
All right. I'll make a motion that we send, let's see. Treasurer. Figure.
No problem. I make a motion 3.
He also, on the tag deal, he's, trying to find a union man to make the tag. Nobody in the matter.
Such a thing.
I gotta leave with him tomorrow and they don't find out.
Thank you, George. So by next meeting then, we should have our union cards, is that right? We should have our cards, and the tags may take a little bit longer then. All right, if that's got committees out of the way, I know that primarily we want to talk about one main issue, and that's our mediation. While latter part of this past week, Mr. Harrison made a statement over television I think most of you are aware of. I talked to Bob Mitchell. He also, before the television statement was issued, he got a letter in his office to the effect from Dr. Harrison apologizing and asking our indulgence that the transcript of the court recorder was 8 days in reaching, and of course it was quite lengthy, took quite a bit of discussion, so that he asked that he be delayed 1 week, and we should have something not later than next Monday. Now I know we've waited a hell of a long time, but we're not going to wait much longer. Yes, sir.
Brother Jack, I was listening to the radio on the way up and out here today and said that possibly he could render his decision, his mediation, this coming Friday.
It's coming Friday. Well, that's even coming in
That's
better.
on the radio.
So, I think we waited long enough. We've got a lot of expectations from him. We're hoping with all confidence that he's going to measure up to everything that we've heard about him. If he's not, we'll cross that bridge when he comes to it. You can rest assured we'll call a special meeting just the minute we have anything to report on it. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to discuss or bring out or talk about on this mediation issue? Yes, Sir George.
I've got a motion I'd like to bring before the group at this time in regards to this. And first, I'd like to mention, of course, you know a lot of rumors all going, but City Hall has been doing a great deal of preparing. They don't want to get caught with their britches down this time like they did last. They said we didn't have the guts to do it, and they sat with their britches down and we caught them. But we didn't catch them if the bed holds up in opportune time. I think we all agree on that. If it'd been around November or December, the britches would have burned off of them while they were down. In regards to this, they have, as I understand it, they've got an available list now of some better than 250 men that they could put in our places. Well, now, in regards to how satisfactory it'd be something for them to go on. But in regards to this, I'd like to make a motion this time that if negotiations break down, or if we vote not to accept the terms of the conditions, that our action, that is to wit, that is whether we quit or whatever we do, instead of being immediately, which would be at an inopportune time for us, shall be left to the executive board. And they would decide when all means have been exhausted and the time was best to leave. Now, I make this in the form of a motion now. I do this, gentlemen, because right now we are at a little bit more level state than we'd be if the city turned us hands down Friday or Monday, whenever we get this, or if we are unhappy at that time, it'd be a little hard to keep a cool mind and decide what we're going to do. I say if we make this recommendation now and leave it in the hands of the executive board, in other words, Jack and Leonard, just like we did, we trusted them with our resignation. And I think the thing to do is for the most effect, because right now they got all these men waiting. And if we quit, they can run in a few and run a skeleton fire department, maybe like they did before. I got my doubts as to that the next time. But regardless. That if negotiations break down, or if we vote not to accept the terms or conditions, that our action, to wit, that is, that whether we quit or whatever we do, instead of being immediately, which would be at an inopportune time for us, shall be left to the executive board. They would decide when all means have been exhausted and the time was best to leave.
I think somebody ought to investigate parliamentary laws between organized labor and federal government and see if it can be handled that way. Of course, I guess Bob Mitchell could tell you in just a minute if there's any law against it. I understand that a group of men has to put an individual vote before you can go out on the strike.
We want to vote. It'll just be the action.
You might vote ahead of time.
But I think, as I understand George's, what George is...
Got a point on the corner here.
All right, let me explain. Just a minute, this, and I will. I think, if I might, on what George is speaking of, is after this body decides what it's going to do about the, if this is an agreement that we turn down that proposal and we make a motion, we decide what we're going to do as a drastic movement or whatever we decide, the moment of that decision, or when we decide to put in reaction, would be left at the executive board's discretion. Is that what you had in mind?
No, that would still be to say right now, if what you're talking about, point of order and legality, it's still, nor it would stand status quo regardless of this. It's just simply, whatever this Bob Mitchell and the executive board decides is what we're going to do. Now, we're all sworn that we're going to do this thing, see? But the time of it is, this would simply leave the time to be the most opportune time. Not in other words, suppose it brought this decision in next Monday, we voted on it, and we say, hell no, we're not going to like the mechanics did in the Eastern Airlines deal. We say, no, we're not going to take it. Well, we don't want to walk out Tuesday night. Hell, ain't no fires going on in August the 17th, August the 20th. But by God, it comes December when we're out here having to patrol these doggone stores to keep them from stacking stuff stacked up against the thing. They don't want us out then. They couldn't do it, and it would be up to them then. We wouldn't be there, and they would have to be sitting wondering like that. You remember, all of you know the joke about the fella that was going out and play golf, and he didn't want any handicap and stroke. He just wanted free lookouts. And
two's enough, George. You can't three's enough.
When he started out, he said, look out, he crammed him with a putter right up the stadium. And that fella jumped a mile, knocked out, and doggone it. Well, he wasn't ready. So when he came back in, the guy that won the game was back like me. He wasn't no pro. He had that little lookout coming. The guy asked him, he said, well, how in the world did old Greer beat you that bad? He said, boy, have you ever played a golf match when the fella had a lookout coming? Let's give him a lookout and give the city away. Don't let them know when that second lookout's coming. They done got the first lookout. Let's keep that second lookout for them to use it at an opportune time.
My point of order on the motion was that we would not have the other shift voting on that, but primarily I think that we would be taking a negative attitude because we have in the past followed the suggestions of our executive committee, as far as I know to a T, And I think that without a vote that we would do so in the future. But we are assuming a negative attitude. We hope that we don't have to do this thing.
Amen.
But if our executive committee, I don't think that we even need a motion nor a vote on it from the floor that our executive committee's wishes will be followed. If it needs to be held off or if it needs to be come at a later date.
Yeah, but see, we can jump up Tuesday night and vote. Let's go tomorrow. No, we're mad then. That's the only thing I'm going to...
Hell, you think I won't be mad too? What about the thing we can do?
We can do it. No, it's just like you get mad, you knock hell out of your mind, and then you got a lawsuit. If you get thinking about it, you won't do it.
All right, now let me tell you, you had a little golf game. Let me give you a little golf game. Pardon me, Mr. Second. He had a little golf game, but this fella had a golf game. He had a trained gorilla. He trained to play golf. So he's looking for a sucker. And the sucker comes along, got his pocket full of money. And he engages, to make a long story short, he had to carry through a lot of, you know, to butter him up a little bit, but he engages in a game of golf with the gorilla. They walk out to the first tee, and the gorilla goes up, steps up. After the other man hits the ball, he's a pretty good golfer. He socks it out there 250, 270, and is well pleased. He's strutting back, see. But the gorilla gets up here, and he tees up, and he addresses the ball. And in such a manner that he'd have said, hello, ball, if he could have said it. But anyhow, he swats the ball. The hole is a long 5-par, and he hits the ball 525 yards. And my God, the fellow just folds. He handed his money, said, man, there's no use of me playing golf with anything like that. Said, yeah, take your money. I'm ready to go to the clubhouse and make the 19th hole. Said, by the way, said, how is he on the green? He done lost his bet, mind you. Now, the fellow says the same way. 500 yards. Well, we done drove 525 yards. Let's don't get on the green unless we have to.
Ronnie, you had something to say on that? George, I've got to remind you, I believe that we'd be in violation right this time of the rule because no vote can carry over 6 hours, and since this is submitted to a night meeting. But for the popularity, I would carry it on to a vote if you insist on it.
Well, with the dual meeting now, what we'd have to do is like, if there's been no one, I'm just making this a motion. That we don't do something that'll hurt ourselves. There is a time and place for everything. And there'll be a better time, because this is a play. But there'll be a better time than August 20th to walk out. And I bring this point, I don't believe that the executive board set the last time. It just grew, and boy, it just happened. And it could do the same thing now. If we left it to them, they might at this time think that we'll strike with an iron hot. Now, we're gonna just leave it to them without a motion, you know. But I'm just afraid if we don't want this thing will just grow a pyramid into a fact that we'll be sitting out there. Hell, ain't no fires going on anyhow.
We can make it.
We think so.
I think, though, that it was led in the right direction. It gelled right that last time, and I think this, that we must have faith in our own ability as rank and file members to follow the lead of our executive board, plus the fact that we should, from this floor, then a statement such as you have made, then I feel 100% in accord with you, and I think that you will find that the other people will. And if we do, for any reason, want to come to any conclusion that then the majority should talk about it at that time and sway the rest of them in the right direction. I mean, in the direction that the whole majority wants to go, which I'm sure that 100% would be just like you talking about.
Chairman, due to the controversy, shortness of time, I make a motion that we table this motion for further study.
Thank you. Motion been made, second we table. All in favor of tabling this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? So ordered. Then motion is tabled, George, for further study. Thank you. All right. Gentlemen, further on our mediation. Now, I talked to Bob quite a bit tonight, quite a while on the phone before I come in. And this is the DeKalb County situation out here. We've got to keep a real close eye on it. Have anybody noticed anything peculiar about that movement out there?
The paper did, they said it was falling out.
Seemed to me like somebody using our words.
Jim Moore and the Atlanta Federation of Trade gave their full backing and approval and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I noticed that he advised them to go back to work, tonight on at 7 o'clock. And,
We were
you know,
advised
that's
to
the
go back
way
to
you
work,
worded
too.
it. See, he used your words, going back to work. I'm telling you, go
He's
back
more
to work.
forceful fellow now, or your bastards didn't go back.
Yeah, but they won't either.
We don't know where they're
They won't either.
Thing is kind of worrying us over a little bit. Now, we know that when we walked around City Hall with our signs, that Joe Batilla drove around City Hall with his little notebook and copying down all our signs. And we know when our attorney wrote the mayor and the council certain letters demanding certain things, that all of a sudden the AFL lawyer come out with a nice epistle letter saying certain things. And when we made statements saying certain things had to happen, they did the same thing. And when we made the plea that all we're asking for them is to sit down and talk to us, all of a sudden all they want is to sit down and talk. We're thinking they've kind of run to the end of the stream. Now we don't know what they're going to do next. One of two things. They're either going to follow our footsteps, and on an individual basis they're going to refuse to obey that court injunction, as we are anticipating maybe they are, or they are going back to work, as they say, and fight it in court. But now I say they go back in there and fight it in court, and basically it's the same injunction that we had against us. And supposing they lose that fight and that injunction, as the county attorney claims that the county is a political subdivision of the state and thereby comes under the state law, thereby making a strike illegal. Will it or will it not hurt us? Bob is of the opinion it can hurt us to some extent. From our past experience with some of these people that are handling that strike, we're wondering, as we determined, that they would definitely like to hurt us. I personally believe they would sacrifice the entire element of the county out there in order to give us a good shellacking or bring us back into the fold. But we're a little bit better off to this extent in that Bob indicates that the county comes a little closer under that heading of a political subdivision than the city. City isn't fair, and our contention will be that ours is an entirely different matter. But we've got to watch it close. Now, as for the firemen in DeKalb County, we know where our sympathies lie. We know where this body's sympathies lie. We do believe in a good, strong, statewide organization or something that will help the Georgia firemen, and they're firemen. But let me remind you that on more than one occasion, the DeKalb group has been approached by your executive board. Captain Stein made the last approach directly to the president of the international local in DeKalb County, and Mr. Jack Gober. Mr. Gober informed Captain Stein that as soon as Mr. Manning got back in town, that their differences were going to be resolved and they could handle their own problems. So we backed off. Now, it's the opinion of the executive board, and we'll ask for your concurrence or otherwise, that if they do get into difficulty, and if the fire department in DeKalb County gets into difficulty, they are still International Association of Firefighters. Then if they seek assistance from us, that we will direct them to the International Association of Firefighters group within our own organization, and if that group wants our assistance, they'll have to publicly ask that assistance down through us. Does anyone have a better plan? Homer?
He says if they straighten out as long as they got those leaders stick out there, hell no.
Well, it seems to be the opinion of a lot of them on the side that they feel about some of their leadership as we felt possibly about some of ours, that they were holding them back. If they become independent, probably we will talk to them. If they ask for assistance through our own organizations, our own Fire Departments International, and our own Fire Departments International will publicly seek our assistance in the matter, I think we could possibly give them some consideration. That's our thinking on it. We have offered help, have been rebuffed. We'll let them come to us next.
Let them get rid of those 2 or 3 people.
Whatever they do. All right, D.A.?
Did this come from their union president?
Yes.
Or was this body as a whole give this answer?
This was from their union president
Well, now,
on an official basis.
They didn't have a body as a whole vote. Did they?
I could not say.
Well, I mean, I don't think he can vote against the body for one man to do.
Well, we can only deal with their officials, right, D.A.?
Well, that sounds like another backup.
They had a president like we had.
Like you got. What's wrong with me? Brother Eddie.
I like that expression, that it's all right, I'm in one of these borderline stations. And, I wanna do what's right, but I don't know what is right. Since they have rejected, our organization up to this point, you might say, in their system, our organization, since they are international, should they come out chief ordered us to lay out over there, what are we gonna do? Same thing over these points.
Maybe you can come into the line.
Get lost all the way.
Well,
They protect our thing. If we went over there and we refused to lay out there, you know exactly what's gonna happen. We're gonna get shit canned. Is this organization gonna back us in?
that's what we've got to decide right here.
Until
We don't get paid about fighting Camp
Hey, that's a difficult question. It's a question that's going to have to be resolved in this way, on the individual basis, as individual firemen. Now, unless we are publicly supporting them, if you, let's say, as you say, you're on a borderline station, you could be called into DeKalb County tomorrow, and that department be on strike. If you were called into that station, you as a union member would have to elect in your own mind as to whether you wanted to honor his picket line or his line or not. If you decided that you would honor it, that you would not cross this line, or you would not, once crossing it, participate or attempt to break his strike, then is whether this body's got to decide, will they support any man that does that, or what's the thinking?
On the order of our own obligations, we said we would.
I recall several that wouldn't answer in hours, yes.
The reason I called that today, the International Association of Firefighters didn't honor us.
No, sir, they did not.
So, are we gonna lay our livelihood on the line to honor their line on an individual basis, and then come down here and have the state majority say, well, they are not, we not supporting them. Then we gonna be left out. Now, I'd like that to be resolved, because if I get called in over there, unless I know definitely that this organization is gonna support us, I'm gonna lay out. They say. Now, this organization is gonna support us when we get called in over there, if they go out, and we refuse, well then I'm gonna refuse, but I wanna know where I stand before I do.
JC, do you have something to say?
Wouldn't that be against our bylaws we've adopted to,
Stand up, if they can.
wouldn't that be against our bylaws that we've adopted here to, affiliate or associate with, Frontline in another house, another county like that?
No, not necessarily.
What did DeKalb County say when we were, what was their answer?
I don't know if they were contacted. Now, we were contacted, quite a few departments, both international and not international, on an individual basis. The men firemen themselves let us know that they would probably have to maybe ordered to come into our area. But they said, I damn sure won't know my way around. And they're not, damn sure wouldn't break their necks to do it. They may have to save their jobs to go into it. But it would be a definite reluctance on that part. I believe Brian back here has had his hand up the longest.
Kevin asked a question there, I think he summed up in that paper that he signed that he would honor any other laboring organization. I believe that's it. That's a laboring organization. They're working on the same thing we work for, even though they're not a part of us as a group. They're still working for the laboring class people.
Bill?
Let's get it straight, either we ain't got Cabin faster than 134, or we got them in DeKalb County too.
Amen.
All right, Bill.
We liable
Stand up,
to
Bill,
get
please.
We liable to get this shoe on the other foot. Say the mediator brings something that makes us unhappy. Say in the meantime, DeKalb County decides they're not gonna do anything. Say in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then we go out again. We have to approach maybe DeKalb County for some help. It can work both ways, can't it? So we need to be sure that we don't need their help if we don't give them something. We've got to make up our mind. It's a two-way street. And it could happen that way, couldn't it?
Certainly could.
So we've got to make up our mind that you can't get the cake without giving something.
Mike?
Yeah, I should say much controversy in this thing. I'd like to try to work up a committee, go out and talk to the men. We had a man in our old local and seen we would do all of our talking talks. He didn't have anything to do with organizing this outfit. We organized it ourselves. So I feel like possibly Jack Goldberg talking to those. I've talked to some of them, they're for it, they're ready. Other people I've talked to have friends in DeKalb County, they say that everybody they talk to, they're ready to go. I'd like to, if there's any possible chance of this passing us, either get a committee out there or contact some of these people and invite them out here, if we were done, see if we can get something worked out, get there, they want us to do it, they come with it.
George?
Jack, I believe this is a legal decision. I believe that if Bob Mitchell contacted Ernest Frank, he knows a little bit more about it most than they I reckon. But I believe he'll say, and we notify them ahead of time that we will not answer fires in this territory because they are without fire protection for their own malice or forethought, that we would be clear. There's a question, what Kevin touched on, Chuck, is legality. You know, where we could stand in lawsuit, perhaps a mutual aid type thing that they do have. And, you know, Atlanta has it like on East Point when the wine car burned, they sent some units in here. And in order, I believe Bob would say, I believe it'd be legal that if he notifies, like East Point, and he notifies DeKalb County that Atlanta firemen are not going into DeKalb County and fight fire because of their lack of fire protection, because of their own doings, that perhaps it clear that up, and it would leave you to leave us and go on. But, hey, it's right, regardless of whether we can, really, when we start talking scab or not scab, we bring it over into a personal basis, we can't do. But I believe that he'll say that if notification is given ahead of time, that it'll give us, we'll be clear of it, and then we wouldn't have to do it.
Well, I think one thing that,
Just a minute.
one mistake we're making, I think, in a way, is this instead of these men being International Association of Firefighters, just because that they are International Association men doesn't mean that they're class with the type of fellows that we left in our organization, just because they hadn't gone independent. I think that wouldn't be the main consideration. It should be what their opinion was at the time we were out. I think it should be kind of what their idea was at that time.
Lee, did you want to hear from Lee from East Point?
I think most of you men probably heard that very shortly we're liable to be in the same situation as you men were. And we would like to know, and we're asking you, that if we do go out, that would you honor our lines? And can I make a statement pertaining to your prolonged meeting, I believe you call it, in that we were asked to come into the city of Atlanta. In fact, we were told by our chief to go. But now, at that time, we had no organization whatsoever. We were 60 men. Those 60 men said they would not go, but they would that was the basic feeling that Atlanta's a big city. We don't know it. But that the feeling was there, but as an organization, we had none. And so that at the time we would have probably come. But like I said, it's a big city. And well, I don't know what but anyway, we are asking now that if it does come to that where we have to hold a rather long meeting, that you please honor our line.
Let me hear from I believe Red just stated something that I didn't know that he would add to this. I'm around all of it.
June 8, 1966, from the last office in this hall down here on the right, my memory called right, I think that was the office. I sat in that office and talked to Jack over on the telephone. And he made a statement to me on the telephone on June the 8th, 1966, which was a Wednesday, that there would be no DeKalb County firemen enter the city of Atlanta. That's the statement he made to me on the telephone.
My question to pose was this, in other words, now, there was appeals made to the men to come in and substitute for us. in which they didn't come. And as far as I'm concerned, whether it's, I feel this, the AFL made a sad mistake and they even took pot shots at us. But I think that we could show them that we're more of a man than what they are. I will, at least on my own individual basis. That would be if they appealed to me to go serve some double duty or cover up for some fireman that's having troubles or in a meeting. But there will be other ramifications in that if you're working on your job, which I will be, and I'll join the city of, in other words, Decatur on the line and DeKalb County on the lines. Now then, if I'm sitting out there on an apparatus, then irregardless, if it should happen tomorrow, then I could at least, if I was sent, in other words, I agree with Greer, that would be a technicality which would have to be settled according to the agreements that these cities have between themselves. If the city sends me down there, then if I do anything, I could at least do it under protest, and protest to where that the people would know that their firemen were not obtainable at that time, and that I was protesting my city government sending me out there to take another fireman's place when he was grieving for assistance.
That brings me one thought to mind. I say one trip out there by number 12, and they wouldn't want to line up back there again, would they? George back, Ralph, I believe you had your hand up a long time back then. Then I'm going in there.
But the captain here hasn't been covered at all. One of our members practicing good unionism gets his tail in a bind. We're going to support him, right?
Right.
That's the question, just answer this.
Gentlemen, all right, if I might interject right now, this question, the reason I wanted to put as much time to it around the hall here as I did, to get you a consensus of feeling. I asked Bob this question before I come out. Bob doesn't have a ready answer for it. He says that in the event they call, regardless, and he's not taking into consideration the fact that they have rebuffed us in the past, the fact that they would be an organized labor group, and if a call comes, he said, I wouldn't answer except on an emergency basis. But when the hell would they call us except on an emergency basis? So he wasn't, of course, thinking on that score, Bob more in terms with organized labor. So he said then it would probably be on the individual basis. He'd have to give it some more thought, a little bit to that extent. You got to remember, this is something that firemen haven't been faced with in the past. It's an entirely new field, and he's given a study on it. But he said it'd have to be kind of held back on the individual basis. But if an individual got into trouble, then this organization would be bound to back that individual 100%. I would, well, go, Jake, you got an idea on it? Go ahead.
All I want to know if you'll back me, I don't cross the